Welcome to In the Huddle. I'm your host, David Igono. I am joined by
Scott Gyorko,
Willie Edwards,
and JT Thomas.
In this episode, we're going to talk about the West Virginia game versus Alabama August 30th this weekend. So let's jump right into it. Alabama is essentially almost a pro-style NFL team. Their head coach, Nick Saban, who is a West Virginia boy, he's one of us to a certain degree. He is almost flawless in his execution and quality control. His football team is they're top notch. Before we break down offense, defense, special teams, predictions, expectations, what's one thing that we should be expecting from Alabama? We'll start with you, JT.
Well, first and foremost, I want to say this: that the only thing that jumps out at me right now is that this game is being played at a neutral site. The fact that it's being played at a neutral site, which means we're going to be able to bring a lot of Mountaineer fans, and that'll be like our 12th man, per se. And also, there are two unproven quarterbacks that will be playing in this game. So it's going to be real crucial for both guys to really come off and start very well. For West Virginia, it's going to be really important that we focus in on this game more so than anything else. Any outside distractions, anything that may cause us to be less than A+ on this game, we have to make sure we stay away from. It's going to be an exciting game.
Well, it's not every day that you get to face the number 2 team in the country. Them coming on the schedule, just on the schedule because it is a neutral site. You have the allure of it's the first game of the year. Every single person in the whole country is going to be watching because this is the playoff system now. So every game is going to matter. So,
I think the one thing that we're going to have to do as a team, I'm a defensive guy, but I understand that our offense is going to have sustain some drives. We can't have some 3 and outs. We got to have some 8, 10 play drives because you can't give them a short field because they're physical. They have 3 great running backs. The quarterbacks right now, like JT said, they're unproven. But when you can turn them around and just hand the ball off to the 3 pro-style running backs, that'll grind you in the ground. And watching film on Alabama, they don't run a lot of plays. They give you a bunch of formations and they run the same plays. And at the same time, as far as plays per game, they run about 50, maybe 60 plays a game. And in the Big 12, we're used to having a lot of plays. We play like from 80 plays to over 100 plays a game, so that bodes well for us.
I also like like you said, the tempo of the game starting off. I mean, they want to slow things down, and ours is bam, 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 bam. Let's go after them.
Yeah, so let's actually go back to or start with the West Virginia offense. Like Willie said, maybe it's not always points. Maybe it's not going to be like against Baylor a couple of seasons ago, 72-64 or something, to come out of like a basketball tournament per se. But we need to sustain drives, and we need to actually connect those and score points and keep the defense off the field. When we're talking about the air raid offense, let's be honest, it's whatever you want to call it, athletes in space. What does that mean against a team that plays a more, let's just say, traditional defense such as Alabama?
Well, I think it means that they got to stay on the move. In fact, if they're playing at the SEC, I think they're the type of team that knows when you're bringing a team in like West Virginia that any and everything can happen. They're gonna have to prepare. They're gonna prepare for a young quarterback and some guys who are looking to prove themselves. And I think these guys will be focused on getting that done. I think people will be quite interested to see how West Virginia comes out on those first couple plays.
As far as for me, I think you want to get your go-to guys the ball early, see what they can do, get them involved. It seems like every game that we have a good game. I mean, even Tavon in years past, you got him the ball early, got him into the game, said, "I'm the guy today," and see what he can do.
Offense, it's really about getting those guys, whether it's Dreamus or Alford or White. All these guys, we got to get them the ball, and we got to be consistent in how we get them the ball. Go ahead, Willie.
Right. Another thing you got to think about is special teams. Again, you can't give them a short field because they can score from anywhere on the field. But they like long, sustained drives. They like to run the ball, pound you. What they're going to do is they're going to wear you out. So when you get in the 3rd and 4th quarter, you're going to be tired because the thing about it is Alabama gets pretty much the top athletes in the country. So they got depth. So they got 1, 2. That 3rd guy is probably equal to some teams' 1st guy. So what they do is they'll just grind you, and then they bring guys out, bring guys in, and just keep grinding you. So that's what's got to happen with our offense. Again, we have to go back to saying having long, sustained drives. Even if we don't score points, don't let them flip the field on us and have a short field.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's not even about scoring points. Really, it's about game management.
Absolutely.
If you can allow that Mountaineer defense to get into the second half and allow for special teams to, whether it's Alford or whoever, returning kicks and playing that field position game, you give yourselves a chance to spark an upset. Now let's talk about the West Virginia defense, which, I mean, I would say is all of our forte on this panel. Alabama offense, I mean, let's be honest, vanilla, right? Vanilla plays.
Almost Penn State like.
But the players who are making those plays and in those plays are not vanilla. They're first round material.
Right. And it's gonna be key. It's gonna be key for West Virginia. And whether we run the 3-3-5 or a multiple front 3-3-5 stack, is to be ready to play against run offense. I mean, it's gonna be a running game. We're gonna have to show up big. We're gonna have to play physical football. I mean, it's Alabama. We got to get ready, almost like the old Miami games. When it's Miami week, well, this is Alabama week. It's time to turn things up and get ready to play solid, hard-hitting football.
Yeah, I think starting off the odd stack, or however you refer to it, is Alabama's never seen it.
Right.
They've never played against it. So the shock and awe factor could be there. You start switching fronts, start moving guys pre-snap. It could cause trouble for them.
You know, that's what's so nice about this 3-3-5 deal, is that it's almost like a leverage defense that you have to guys leverage the football at all levels, from the front line to the line back to the secondary. Most all the time, the fits are pretty solid. I mean, that's what I thought our Oklahoma season was a couple years ago when we played Oklahoma. We fit very well. We leveraged the offense very well, and we played physical football.
Right. And the thing I like about the 3-3-5 is, and I'm not a 3-3-5 guy. I played in a 4-3 and some 5 fronts, but you can attack from different areas on the field. You never know where the blitz is going to come from. You can disguise it very well, and also on the back end and your coverages, you can play all kind of coverages. You can play man coverage, you can play cover 3, you can play cover 2. You can disguise things and show them one thing, but most people in the 3-3-5, they play a cover 3, which you would think you got 5 defensive backs on the field. Why would you play cover 3? Because you're blitzing a lot of the time. So. If you look at a 3-3-5, it looks like a 3-3-5, but when the ball is snapped on the move, you can have a 5-man front, you can have a 4-man front, you can have a 6, 7, almost even an 8-man front, because you can bring guys from different areas. And I think in the SEC, they never see that type of defense. So, those guys up on the front line, they got to have their heads up, and they got to be seeing, where this blitz is going to come from. And I think in the beginning, it's going to work to our benefit. But as the game goes on, I don't know if they're going to be able to key in, maybe figure out, what we're doing.
Yeah, I would say going into the game, it's going to be imperative. Let's be honest. Whoever starts at quarterback for Alabama has never seen a 3-3-5 stack. Right. It's going to be a brand new quarterback. McCarron has gone on to the NFL.
Right. Well, I think the thing about it is, as a quarterback, you always taught find a free safety. Well, in this defense, you may see 3 of those guys, and on the snap they move. So for a young quarterback, this could, disrupt them, quite a bit. And like I said, that bodes well for our defense, because, you got to see that free safety. He'll tell you what coverage you're playing. But if you see 3 safeties, what are they playing? 2 may come down in the box. One may come from one side and one come from the back side. So, like I said, it's going to be imperative that we disguise our defenses and have that quarterback thinking the whole time.
Well, even the unproven quarterback, you want to try to get to him early. You get to him early, hit him a good time, then the whole rest of the game he's thinking, I better not.
Where are they coming from?
Where am I coming from?
One thing I like that most people don't account for, that we have in our 3-3-5 or the art front stack, or whatever you want to call it, is that bonus player, being the bandit or the spur. Those guys are athletic football players who can tackle and also play receivers in space. I mean, I think that's going to be one of the critical areas on our football team that we may be able to benefit from.
Well, let me play devil's advocate real quick, JT.
Please do.
Now, when you got a spur and a bandit, those guys are hybrid safeties, free safeties. Now, Alabama's going to come out in what they call twins ace. You're going to have 2 tight ends and 2 splits. Now, our bandit and our spur are going to have to be blocked by that tight end. And, they're going to be outmatched sometimes. So, they're going to get beat on and get wore down and wore down. Now we've got to figure out, do we have guys who can come in and spell these guys? Because when you got 2 tight ends and these guys are coming down on these guys the whole time, are they going to be able to hold up on the blocks? Or are they going to be able to cover a tight end and pass coverage like the tight end they had at Texas Tech last year? That guy was a phenomenal tight end, and he gave us fits the whole game. So, that's the kind of thing that comes to mind when I think about how do you attack a 3-3-5.
It's going to be critical for those spur and bandit players to be technically sound football players. When they playing those tight ends and they going vertical, they got to stay underneath them. When they go into the flats, they got to be willing to break on the ball. And as you mentioned, oftentimes they'll be probably being blocked by some of those tight ends. These guys got to be ready. If a guy get blocked, somebody should be replacing him. So if one of those Spurs and those bandit get blocked, we should see linebackers flow into the football. And I think here with that 3-3-5, we've seen it a lot in the early 2000s. I believe we can in the future we'll see that this will be a solid defense for our football program.
Well, let's jump right into it. The last part of the show, expectations, predictions. We'll start with Scott.
It's always hard to predict on a team that hasn't played a game yet.
True.
And you always want to go with the home team, which I always do.
I was getting nervous at first. I was going to inch away from you.
No, I'd never root against West Virginia. I'm going to say 29-28, West Virginia. I think it'll be a close game, and I think we can catch them off guard early. They might make some adjustments, but I think it'll be too late.
Okay. Actually, Willie. Yeah, let's go down the line. Willie.
Again, we have an unproven quarterback with Alabama. Actually, quarterbacks. They haven't given a starter yet. So, he said he has 2 quarterbacks. And, the whole saying is you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. And I think that right now is at our advantage. I think we're going to have to, like I say, sustain drives on the offense. A lot of times we don't have to score. We're going to have to eventually score, and I like Scotty. I think it's going to be a tight game, but we have to sustain drives. Special teams, we have to be big in the special teams. It reminds me of Penn State a lot. They'll just keep grinding and wait till you make a mistake, and then when you make that mistake, they'll make you pay for it. I think it'll be a low-scoring game also, and I think everybody in this panel is going to, say West Virginia is going to win, and I'm going to say the same thing. I'm not sure what the score is going to be. It's going to be a close game, and we're going to win by 3.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree with you more. Obviously, I think all of us will agree with this. West Virginia has to play a flawless game. They have to go in there and play football like they know they can play. And that's something we've done before. We've done that before. We've seen it before. I think it's going to take the seniors to get these guys up for the game, go in there with the mindset of being very, very aggressive, going out there, being able to execute, and I think West Virginia comes home with a victory by 3 points here in Morgantown, West Virginia.
I'm going to have to jump in there. You said we have to play a flawless game. No one has to play a flawless game. Mm-hmm. We have the talent. We do have the talent to beat anybody, is what I'm saying. You can make a couple mistakes. You just can't keep it in your mind that can't.
I still think they got to be flawless.
Short-term memory.
No, I think if I were part of the staff, what I would do is I would go back and show them all the big games that West Virginia's played in, and say, hey, look, we're the underdogs in this game. Look what happened. We're the underdogs in this game. Oklahoma, we beat them in the Fiesta Bowl. They're supposed to beat Georgia. We're the underdogs in that game. Look what happened. And I would go back and show these guys our pedigree. This is what we've done, and we can do this. So you have to go back sometimes and show the guys this is what our past is, and this is our pedigree. So if you guys want to be a part of what has happened in the past, you can do this.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I'll add is that this game is going to come down to belief. Belief from the coaching staff, belief from the players, at least from the West Virginia side. All those things, they transfer into time management, they transfer into play calling, they transfer into that spirit that the West Virginia section of fans, because we travel well. Absolutely. I don't understand it, but we do it every time we have a big game. We do it. Right. So at the end of the day, if from the top down the players believe, this can be another West Virginia, not even fairy tale. It's pretty much, was it 1 time is a phenomenon, 2 times is a trend, 3 times is a reality. We're on, 4th or 5th or 6th? I wouldn't pick against the Mountaineers in this game at all. At the same time, though, win or lose, I want to see, my expectation, I want to see growth and I want to see leadership. I want to see guys take this season by the reins and lead, because that's what's going to take us to a level where we're able to actually start dominating.
Right. And I'm the type of guy that I'm not into moral victories. But if I were, and I digress, if we play a great game and if we lose and we play a close game, I think that will set the precedence for the rest of the season, because there's so many people expecting us to get blown out. I have people talking to me at work all the time. What do you think is going to happen? Well, I think we're going to play with, you guys are going to get blown out. I don't think so. I think if we hang around long enough, we'll find a way to win. And like I said, if we play well, then in our guys' mind, that shows that we can play with one of the best teams in the country, who has been for the last 3 or 4 years, that, we have a good football team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe in moral victories at all either. But I do think when you talk about the psyche and the history of this team and this coaching staff for the past 2.5 seasons, belief is the one thing where everything builds off of, whether it's preparation or actually just going down there. I mean, can you imagine being a senior on this team and you get to play Alabama? You don't have to. You get to play Alabama. You're going to show up.
Yeah, right.
You're going to show up.
Yeah. This could be a game where a young guy who aspires to be an NFL player can really separate himself early on in the season to be a potential guy who could be watched by many.
Get that one big play, turnover margin.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I don't know what the numbers are, but it drastically increases the chance of winning. You get a turnover in a game.
Well, I'm a secondary guy, and I'm looking at our secondary. We got a couple guys who potentially can play at that next level. And one of the guys being Daryl Worley. He's a big guy. We talked about him before. He's about 6'1", guy can run, a great cover guy. And Alabama has their top receiver back, Cooper. And he'll be a junior this year, and I doubt if you'll see him at Alabama next year. So he's going to be a pro-style receiver. So if Daryl Worley can make some great plays against him, that'll set him out so people can see see him and say, you know what, this kid can play and, possibly can play at the next level.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the college football level, and it's becoming more and more like the NFL, especially on the outside, it's matchup driven.
Absolutely.
Matchup driven. So it's not so much about schemes, 3-3-5s, or air raids, or pro style. It's about winning your matchups. So don't let anybody fool you. The Mountaineers across the board can match up with anybody, whether they're rated or ranked or not, whether they're NFL guys or not. So for me, and everybody have their final word here. I mean, who's your guy? Who's your Mountaineer that's going to shoot the musket for the Mountaineers this coming Saturday?
Oh, it's on me. Okay. Well, look, I'm gonna put it on the interior guys. I'm gonna want to see a guy like Christian Brown really anchor that front line and make some spectacular, make people double team him. I think if he makes people double team him, that will allow our linebackers to run and play physical football. So he's going to be my guy who's going to shoot the musket this year, Christian Brown.
I got to go with Clint Trickett. Even the first game. I know I'm a defensive guy, but I got to go with Clint Trickett. I think the defenses are going to try to shut down our running game and make him prove himself. His shoulder was hurt in the offseason, and they're going to try to see if it's healed up. And if quarterback goes, you go. I mean, absolutely. You can get, as long as someone can get there to catch it. I mean, if you put it right where it needs to be, you're in good shape.
All right. Well, I think that's a great pick. And, looking at our depth chart as far as our quarterbacks, you got Clint Trickett, who has the most experience. And then behind him, I'm thinking right now the coaching staff has William Crest and Paul Millard somewhere there in the mix. So if you can get Clint Trickett out of the ball game, now you're down to freshman quarterback. So now your playbook goes from here to here. And now you become predictable for a defense because you can't throw that much at a freshman quarterback. All right, now I go back to the defensive side of the ball. I'm going back with my man Daryl Worley. I'm an ex-corner, so those corners you got to have some confidence in yourself, and this guy has it. And I think he's going to make play after play after play for our defense because he's going to be put out on the island a lot with any team's best receiver. And for a guy like that, I think he can handle it. My guy, and I think, in my opinion, he's somewhat flying under the radar, which I don't even know how, but it's Joseph. It's going to be Carl Joseph. He's not going to make headlines maybe this coming season, but he's going to make plays, and he's going to allow that Mountaineer defense to get off the field. Absolutely. Him being moved up into the box allows for uncertainty for offenses. And I think of this game coming up with Alabama, I don't care who their quarterback is. They can bring back, Joe Namath. It doesn't matter. When you haven't seen the 3-3-5 stack and you got guys coming at you full speed, there's going to be balls on the ground. There's going to be balls that are thrown straight up in the air, and the defense is going to have to catch the ball. So for me, it's Carl Joseph, but at the same time, everybody here made a great point. I think it begins and ends at the quarterback position, but these other guys definitely have a say in this coming game. So
Dave, there's one more thing I want to mention.
Go ahead.
We know this as defensive players. What wins ball games?
Toughness.
Defense wins ball games. Tough defense. So that's why I like to talk about defensive guys, because if they can't score, guess what? They can't win.
No, there's no more ties in football. So, exactly. Well, thank you for joining us. Check back with thedeeppost.com for upcoming episodes as well.